having a. Mine's is still saying. Okay. Okay.
We live, y'all. We live. We live, y'all. We live.
Mine's is still saying.
Eu desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão. Até o chão, até o chão. Desci, vou até o chão. Desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão. Até o chão, até o chão.
Hello, Miss Magnolia.
Eu desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão. Até o chão, até o chão. Desci, vou até o chão. Desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão. Até o chão, até o chão. Eu desci, eu desci, eu desci.
All right. Peace, peace, family. Peace and Black Indian, Black American. I'll even let y'all have Black African power, African American power. All right. QI Critical Thinking in the building. And this is another WEW Women Empowerment Wednesday for you. We do this every 9:30 Eastern time, every 8:30 Central time, and etc. So, now that I've introduced myself, let me go ahead and introduce the WEW panel. BB Nice, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. It's BB Nice in the building. How's everybody doing?
All right. And girl down the street, Rhonda, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, chat? Hey, BB and AQI. Hey, I missed y'all last week, but hey, I'm back tonight. We're gonna get it cracking, talk about what we need to talk about.
Yes. All right. So I always like to give the pleasure. Let me go ahead and speak to the chat first, but I always like to give the pleasure to the host, to the co-host. First, who wants to start first? BB or girl down the street? Not
I
all.
hand it over to BB.
Huh?
I hand
What
it
we
over to BB.
You
Okay.
mean it's greeting everyone?
Wait, BB. Let's greet the chat first. But I just want
Yes, absolutely.
all right. All right. Let's see. We got my homie Mississippi Magnolia in the building. All right.
Hello.
All right. JLC, what's up? JLC, I'm subscribed. I come over and watch your commentary. Salute to JLC 87 Productions in the building. All right. Drunk again. Meek, my girl. My girl.
Hey, drunk again, Meek.
All right. So go ahead and smash that like, share, and subscribe. And even you Sky Watchers, smash that like, share, and subscribe. Now today we're gonna have a variety of different topics. Today we're gonna talk about me myself. I wanted to talk about Trump. Salute AHA in the building. But I wanted to talk about Trump because there's some, very serious things going on with Trump. So my topic is going to be Trump today. BB Nice, her topic is going to be maternal relationships. And Run the Girl Down the Street is talking about the JJ hygiene. So, it's all going to be things that we could use. So now that I told you what we're going to be doing today, and after pretty much after we've gone up through our topics and stuff, we are going to open the phone lines for call-ins on, pretty much whatever topic you want to talk about or whatever we talked about today. All right. So BB, go ahead and let it rip. You got the stage.
Okay. Well, today, guys, I just wanted to go over some it's not really tips or anything, just my experiences with my 4 children that I have and how raising them are different for each individual. And I kind of want to promote a better relationship with your daughters and with your sons, and to let you know how important it is as parents to have these relationships. Now, I do believe these are my beliefs. If you disagree, that's fine. I'm always open to learn new things, but this is what's working for me. I want to start with my oldest son, who is 23. And the things that I didn't do with him coming up, because I was a young parent, and coming up with him, I did everything for him. I was literally taking him to school. I was scared to have him do a lot of things on his own. I kind of sheltered him. I was literally bringing him lunch to high school. If he wanted McDonald's, whatever he wanted, I was giving it to him. But what I failed to do was teach him to be independent. I didn't let him. I didn't like ensure that he knew how important it was to take out garbage, how important it was to do dishes, to cook, because I did everything for him. So as an adult now, I'm noticing how he relies on others to take care of him. Yeah, he got a job, but he really depends on women to do things for him. And I kind of think that, I played a part in that, a role in that. So going forward, 9 years later, I started having my other 3 kids, which is a 14-year-old, 11, and 9. I'm totally different with them. They are My 9-year-old know how to iron her clothes. They all clean their rooms. They go to the laundromat. They know how to sort their clothes. My son takes out garbage without me asking. My daughter do dishes. They have chores. So that was the difference that how I raised my first son that I learned with my last 3. And me and my kids had a conversation in a car the other day, and I let them know I am preparing you guys for the future. This is why I don't do these things for you, because I want you to learn how to do them yourself. I need you to be able to take care of yourself, because I'm not going to always be around. I may not have it financially. I don't want you guys to depend on me. With my girls, I realized that a girl's first love is her dad. That's when a girl learns how to love. And their father being in their life is very important. Not to say that it can't be done if a father is not around. I'm not taking that away from none of the women, the strong women. But I do recognize that the first love of a woman, of a young girl, is dad. The first love of a young man is mom. And I see how the two ties in, and it teaches the children how to love, how to be compassionate. I know when I was coming up with my oldest son, it was important for me to show him to be a man, be a boy, this and that. But I didn't. I felt to teach him compassion. how to love a woman, how to be, how to let his guard down. It's okay to cry. So these are the things that I learned now growing up that I am teaching my younger three, and it's very important. My daughters, I had to learn that all my children are different. When my son was going to school, he learned things. I didn't have to show him how to do a lot of things. He just picked it up. When I had my daughter, I was expecting her to be like my son, and she wasn't. She needed my help with everything. And I used to compare the two. Well, my oldest one didn't need it, and I had to stop doing that. And I realized that each kid is different. Each kid learn different. And those are the things that I'm going through now because my daughters, one of my daughter, my oldest daughter is a lot like needy. A lot, she my oldest son needed that extra push, and my youngest son is very independent. So trying to juggle the two, it could get a little bit, you know, difficult, but I'm learning. And, I just wanted to express that how important it is to be very upfront, to be very, you got to say what you mean and mean what you say with your kids.
Amen.
You cannot straddle them along and think that you have to do everything for them because they're your kids, because it really messes them up as they grow up, that them not being independent really, it relies on you. It stands with you and how you raise them growing up. And I just learned a lot, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm still learning. Like I told you before, my 14-year-old daughter is liking boys, and she really likes boys. And I got to hear these conversations that I don't want to hear every day, but I got to hear them, because if she don't talk to me, she's going to find someone to talk to. So I'd rather it be me, and she come out her face with things that you wouldn't believe. I'm like, oh my God, like, why are you thinking this way? But you have to think back when you was 14 and the stuff that you got away with that your parents wasn't paying attention to. And I think about that type of stuff, and I don't want that for my daughter. It's very, very hard. So I really kind of just wanted to bring that up to you guys and really just have a little dialogue on that.
All right, girl down the street, what do you like? What's your feedback, or what do you think about like what BB just presented?
I think that, girl, you're doing a good job with those kids. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep keep doing what you're doing, because the same way. I have two kids. One's 27, one's 15. What I did with the 15-year-old, trying to do with the 15-year old, is completely different. What I'm doing with the 27-year-old, or how I raised her, same way. She was my little doll. She's my
Mhm.
little doll. I dressed her up. I took her everywhere. Everything she wanted, I gave her, because we wanted her. I wanted her to be cute. All she had to do, just sit over there and be pretty. don't
Right.
don't do, don't do nothing else. But with that 15-year-old, I learned that I have to instill some type of um, get up and go by yourself. Get up, do this, do that, do this, do that. So we I was a young mother, 21, didn't have a clue, but I try
You-
not to make the mistakes that with my youngest that I made with my oldest one. When we were growing up together, I told her we grew up together. You know, I used to tell her, "It's your first time being a daughter. This is my first time being a mother. So we're gonna try to work it out and just live life and be happy with it." But I completely understand, even from how to use deodorant products and just everything that I took for granted. I took for granted with that oldest one. I have to make sure and instill that in my youngest one.
right.
I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's really tough. I have it's some questions that I just want to address because we're talking about my topic right now. Drunken Meek said, "Please don't get mad at me, but I stayed hard on my boys at an early age because I was afraid of them being gay." Meek, I understand that completely, because at one point that was a fear of mine back then. Although my brother was gay, my nieces are gay. I have a lot of gay people in my family, but I also knew how hard it was for a black male to be gay in the community as well. So I was afraid of that too. However, once I became more educated in the lifestyle and realized that it's really not a choice, I have to open up my mind. And I don't know, I can't what I express to my sons is no matter who you love and what you love, I'm still going to support you. I'm still going to be there for you. It's really not a choice. You can make them. My brother that's gay now was in the service. He played. He had about 3 girlfriends. He ran with the hardest, the roughest of them all. But that was him pretending to be something that he's not. And so I see it going both ways. You know, and I don't disagree with your opinion. That's your opinion for your child. I'll never tell a parent what's good, right or wrong, how you should feel. But in this world, in this society, you have to be open-minded and realize that that may not be what they want. They may want the same sex. They may desire the same sex. And it does not have nothing to do with you as the parent. So I do want to say that. And one more question. Mississippi Magnolia said, BB, is there a male father influence around the children to emulate? I don't know if you heard my story prior. I was married for 14 years, and my kids actually live primarily with their father. So yes, they always have their father around. As a matter of fact, one thing I enjoy about the relationship they have with their father, he's a truck driver, and he takes turns taking them to work with him. So my son is always with him. They live with the father and the grandfather. My grandfather takes my son out to play baseball, all types of things. And so it's not like, and my oldest son always had his father too. So the fathers were always in their life, but they primarily was with me, my oldest one. So his father worked a lot. So and he played bad football. He was all boys, but at a certain age, he just got entangled in the wrong stuff and he went his way. And that's the reality of it. One thing he know for sure is he could not sit around in my house. When I got up in the morning, we all got up and we left the house. Wasn't nobody, I never was leaving nobody in my house to sit around and do nothing. So when he turned 18, my son left and he never came back. He had his own apartment since then. He's 23 now. So, that's just the reality of that.
All right. Well, I have a few things to say. Like I heard you say, and I'm glad that you brought this up because it's true. A lot of people think that boys should not cry. In fact, I'm going to do a whole series probably in the next couple of days on toxic masculinity, the difference between true masculine and toxic masculinity, because it needs to be said. But how toxic masculinity starts is things like that, thinking that just because a boy is a boy, that they shouldn't have emotions or cry. It's like whenever we cry for a reason. That if crying didn't have any benefits, then we wouldn't do it. And so when you're holding all of that stuff in, you're holding in toxins, you're holding in a lot of different things, which, like it's going to have to come out some kind of way. And you're holding in stress as well, which is going to have to come out, some kind of way. And unfortunately, it comes out, aggressively. So it's better, I don't know where we get this thing that, people shouldn't cry or boys shouldn't cry, because, that, produces toxic masculinity, that it produces abusive, types of behaviors and things of that nature. As well, I also heard you say, okay, love is love. Okay, just like the first love is the love of both your mother and your father and your family. Once you know how to love, you know how to love. You know what to expect from love, especially family love. Family love. So love is love. So your first love is, your family, your bond, your mother and your father. It's like it doesn't like for a girl, it doesn't have to be just the father, and for a boy, it doesn't have to be just the mother. It's like It's the whole family love, even the sisters and the brothers learning how to, that's love, that's that balance, and that's the very important foundation of, children learning how to love others and, having successful relationships. As
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
I'm glad you said everybody learns differently. Yeah, because
Absolutely.
everybody has different talents, everybody has different strengths, and everybody has different weaknesses. And and I'm glad you said that as well, because what a lot of parents don't do is they don't look at their child for who they are and their own individual characteristic. Um,
Absolutely.
just like, for instance, you may notice, like, you might have a child and you always seeing them bopping, you always see them beating. All 9 times out of 10, that child is probably going to be like, like more into he learns from hearing. um
Hmm.
just like, there are some children that have, on a visual curve, they learn from visuals. All right. And
I watched the HBO special, which helped me deal with my daughter's disability, learning disability, because she's ADHD, and
mhm,
I struggled with trying to understand why she wasn't picking up. And what made me stop that is because I used to get upset when she brought home C's, because I'm very strict when it comes to schooling, and she was bringing home a lot of C's. So a teacher told me one day, like, "Mom, stop being so hard on her. If she's doing the best that she can do, then the C is the best that she can do. You have to stop trying to put all this pressure on her." And then when I watched the HBO special, we were talking about they were talking about a lot of kids that had a lot of different learning disabilities. And what the instructor said stuck out with me, and I'll never forget it. And she said, when a person talks about your child is not learning, and or they're behind, and this, no, you always remember, my child learns like this, your child learns like that. So that
Right.
is the spin on, all children learn different. She may not learn the way everybody else learns. She learns different, and that's it.
mhm,
I learned different. I'm dyslexic. I have dyslexia, and when I was growing up in school, I would always have a hard time reading because my words, when I looked at words, they were jumbled. They were jumbled in my head. I would put words that wasn't there, add words. So I always
now I'm laughing because I have ADHD, and people with ADHD, we still do that. I mean, it's like sometimes I can read perfectly and sometimes them words jumble up. But
yeah.
I just learned to go, like, go as I go with it. Just go with it.
My instructor taught me, my when I had the way I had to learn was my instructor taught me to always be ready. I always had to pre-read something, so I can already see it. Especially, I had a hard time with initials. Like you say UFO, I would say FOU when I'm reading. If I'm reading it out loud, if I've never
Okay,
seen
right,
it
right.
before, you know. So I always have to look at things and visualize. I just can't just start blurting out words and start reading. Right today, I still can't do that. So you're right. Everybody learns different. You got to find a way. If your kid is having those type of issues, think. Well, don't just say, "Well, he's just slow."
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
There's something that's going on,
Absolutely.
and that's how I was. My parents, back in the 80s, they didn't know until someone. I was in my adult life when that came to life for me. That so that was the problem. I was dyslexic because I couldn't read nothing.
And another thing I did to strengthen my kids' reading skills is we would take a book and we would take turns reading. We would have contests, and it would be the one paragraph. And the one paragraph may have 5 sentences in it. And our contest was, you have to read. It doesn't matter how slow or how fast you go, but you can't mispronounce or stumble over a word. If you do that, you lose points. At the end of that paragraph, whoever had the most points would get money. So
Okay.
it was teaching them and giving them accolades to concentrate and look and see what you're reading before you just jumble over the words, and it strengthened their reading. And it was just little things like that that help kids learn. And it's very important that we as parents do this with our kids, because it teaches them they need this. They also need to learn different languages, because this is the world that we're living in. We need to be very fluent in the way we're teaching our children. English is not enough. It will not be enough in the next couple of years. They're going to have to learn another language. And this is stuff that I know that I can't teach my kids, but I can make sure it gets taught. They're learning this in school. When we learned it in school, I didn't take these things seriously. I didn't take Spanish serious. I just, see what's okay for me. But it's not enough anymore. And they're offering French, Spanish. You need to make sure your kids are learning all those languages, because they are going to need it.
Well,
Right.
science and math,
What
they
is
have
French?
they have STEM programs as well. Science and math is that's one thing that we don't get. We as I don't like to say African Americans, and I don't really like to say black, but I'm gonna say black on this occasion again. We as black people we don't get our children involved, or we don't motivate them to get involved in science and math. And see, science, math, and technology is the future. So like, if we want our children to be competitive with the rest of the world, we're gonna have to get them into them STEM programs and different things like that, so that because this is how inventions are made. This is how products is made. This is the difference between working for someone and owning your own. So that's very important. And also, I want to say about teachers in school. When I was in school, my first grade year, okay, I sat in school and I daydreamed all the time. Okay, and I never finished any of my work. Okay, but when it came down to standardized tests, I excelled. And they tested me. They found out I was ADHD. My mom didn't want to put me on the Ritalin, and at this point, I don't blame them. Now, I don't blame her, because I was the only medicine out then. But like I could have used some type of medication. But here's the thing. They found out they wanted to put me in a gifted class. But because my mom didn't want to put me on the medication, they did the opposite. I went through all those remedial types of classes, and I kept scoring out of them and all of that kind of stuff. And so you have to stay on these teachers. Don't let these teachers tell you that your child is slow. Sometimes it's like they learn differently. When you have ADHD, just like, for instance, some teachers may have taken the fact that I was daydreaming all the time, and and I never passed in my work as did any of my work or passed any of my work as like being slow, or having a problem right off the bat without testing me. But luckily they did. But here's the thing that I wanted to say: I was bored. I caught on too fast. They might have to keep re-explaining it to the rest of the class, but I got it. So now now I gotta, I'm trying to find other ways to entertain or stimulate my brain. So you have to know your child, and you have to know your child and know your child's capability. And at the same time, there's nothing wrong with investing in tutors, because like, some people, they think first of all, they tell most black people that they have math anxiety, especially women, that they have math anxiety. But it's not that we have. If you tell me I have math anxiety, if you're not hiring the proper type of teachers that teach on all different types of levels, like the visual, like the auditory, you have to teach to everybody's learning curve, not just one or two. And that's what a lot of times in these schools, with the lack of budget and everything, it's not, they're not teaching to all, learning curves. So it's not all the time that your child may be slow. It's just that maybe that teacher is not teaching on the right learning curve. Because even when I was in college, I had certain teachers that I just couldn't get with, because they were monotone, and as much as I might have liked the subject, it's like I would blur out. My mind would blur out, and I would forget all about them there. I was daydreaming, in my own little world. So just keep up with your children, and sometimes get them some additional help, because it's not like
And you know what? Learning is not just about school either. I want to say that. I want to mention that. It's not that, those are the fundamentals. Learning goes beyond school. Learning is, you are teaching your children every day. When from the time they wake up to the time they go back down. And everything that you do should and could be a lesson taught to your children. So it's good, that's what I'm saying about relationships with your children. It's not just about telling them what to do. It's about hearing them as well, taking in the things they like and don't like, taking in the things that they have a problem and issues with outside of school. And you really have to talk to your kids. It's not all about throwing your fingers saying, oh, do what I say do and do what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have that type of, it's relationships are very important. I cannot stress it enough. When
Right.
you're driving, just a simple drive to school could be so many lessons. Do you know this street? Do you know why it's so crowded out in the streets? Do you see this bus where it can take you? Do you see this monument? Do you know what this school stands for? It's so many ways that we can be teaching our children. And what it does is it alleviates the games, it alleviates TV, because those are the gadgets that are slowly diminishing the minds of us all. And we have to start coming to terms with, yeah, we're going to need it, but we also need our mind as more than those electronics. We have to start teaching our kids and having them. And even when you don't want to hear certain things, your child might tell you, "Ma, I like this person, and I don't like this person." The last thing they want to hear is, well, you ain't got no business liking nobody. You should be in school. No, you need to calm down, take a step back, and say, well, what do you like about this person?
Right.
And what don't you like about this person? Do you know what type of friendship that's required of you? Do you know that you're too young for this or you're too old for that? You really have to teach them in a way where our kids will understand, because these kids today are very smart. They came out the womb intelligent. So you can't dumb them down with just saying go to school and that's it. It's more than that.
Oh
And
yeah.
they
Go
came
ahead,
out the womb
Rhonda.
having their own mind. You right. I can't tell my daughter nothing that she don't already know. That's what she thinks. Anyway, I can't tell her nothing that she don't already know. If when she comes to me and she's talking about boys or she's talking about school, if I give my input, Mama, that's old school. We don't do that no more. You know?
But it still work. Or
Yeah,
the one where my daughter, oh, he broke my heart and I loved him, mommy. My
mhm,
mom want to say, girl, please, you ain't gonna be thinking about that boy in about another 2 months. Like, this boy
yeah.
ain't even, but I can't say that to her because these are her feelings and it'll
Those are
destroy her.
feelings.
So I gotta say, well, Summer, what happened? And is this the type of guy that you really want to be liking in the first place if he's that bad? Or do you think you
Right.
overreacted? I have to talk to her like that. I don't want to, but I have to. I can't just sit her in her room, say, girl, you don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here. Somebody gonna tell her if it ain't me.
You're sure right. You're right.
Well, and then we have to make sure our children do prioritize though, especially little girls, okay? Because like with my niece, I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's like I explain to my niece that look, your first priority is to get your education, to put your life on track. Once
Mm-hmm.
you put your life on track, you're gonna attract the right type of person. You
Right.
know, you have time for that. Don't rush for that. Because we have to also think when they start dating, a lot of times comes, like whether you like it or not, we was all in school and we know what happens in school. And it don't matter what age. A lot of this stuff is introduced. And the last thing we want is for a person's life to be short, for them not to have the opportunities that they could have had because they having children early. So we have to make sure we explain to our children about sex and things like that as well. And and give them a broader view of what their future consists of. Broader view, because like just like other cultures, just like I've seen Middle Easterners, like you go in a lot of their stores and they'll have their little kids behind the cash register, have them
Cooking.
counting money. have them,
Yeah.
they'll teach them responsibility at a young age. And they're sort of tough on their kids. And I'm not saying that we have to be anally tough on our kids, but if we want, these are the same people that our kids have to compete with. So we
Yep.
have to look at that. If we want them, like we can't sit and say, well, it's unfair that they're not giving us jobs if we're not, competing up to standards. So
Yeah.
like we need to, do a lot of the same things as well. When they're young, we need to make sure that they're advancing, just like reading. Like instead of playing a game, make them say, okay, well, 2 hours out the week, you have to read. Just like
Yeah.
my mom,
No.
my,
Yeah, a
my
half hour a day. Moms have to read. They have to read a half hour every day. If not an hour, definitely a half hour. You're gonna take some time to pick up a book. Now, books are not, because of the internet, but they all have Kindles, so they all have readers, and they all could pick a book and start chapter after chapter. And I'm on that. I'm very, very a stickler for education because they need it. They absolutely need it, and it's very important. But I just wanted to put that out there. And I'm just hoping people, we as women, can be more vital to in our children's lives, in our daughters' lives, in our sons' lives. We need to teach our young boys that it's not okay to call girls out of their names. It's not okay to put their hands on women. It's not okay. There are consequences. And you cannot, because I hear a lot of women, oh, if that girl touched my son, she better whoop his her ass. And I think that's wrong. Now, do I want girls to think to use my son as punching bags? Absolutely not. It's equally wrong. But your sons have to know from their parents how to treat other human beings, and they learn from example. Don't forget that. You can't think you in a house being uh ver- uh going through verbal abuse, domestic abuse, and your kids is right there, and then you expect them to know how to treat a woman and a man. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So you really have to be very conscious of how you're treating your children and how you're raising them. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that by no means. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning every day. But I get it because I'm an adult. I know right from wrong, and I get it. So I am trying to make sure my kids get it as well.
All right, give me just a moment here. I want to shout out three large content creators that's in the building. JLC Productions was in the building. Y'all go ahead and like it, subscribe to her channel, as well as J Dot is in the building. He had a lot of content. Make sure y'all subscribe to him as well. My sister from the Black conscious community, Soul Alchemy, in the building.
Hello,
Um,
everybody. Thank you guys for being here.
Make sure y'all subscribe to her as well. She does herbal products, soaps, all candles, all kinds of stuff. She shows you how to grow, vegetables in, pots, in small confined areas and different things like that. So she has a great channel and she does great content. I'm glad that you're over here. Thank you for coming, sis, and thank all of the content creators for supporting. It really means a lot, to me. As well as y'all go ahead and subscribe to KB Johnson. That's a barber trying to build their channel. Over here, it's about teamwork. It's about networking. It's about, it's about us all helping each other because we all have things that we can share. And, it's about betterment. And so if we all put our heads together, we all support each other, then we can all get better. So, I like to, thank all of the content creators, as well as right now we're about to move on to our next topic. And our next topic is very important. It is called yoni hygiene. They call it yoni in the Black conscious community. But JJ hygiene, vagina hygiene. I'm not sure if I'm able to say that. If so, please forgive me, YouTube. That was just the one time. I have to figure that out. But you have the floor. Go ahead, run. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say. Soul Alchemy made a great point. We need businesses to pull our children into. Forget a job. Facts. Like our ancestors, before our ancestors, our great grandparents did it right. My grandparents, it was my grandparents. My grandparents, they dropped the ball. because they want to go out
Mhm.
there and start getting jobs, and then they encouraged us to get good jobs. And so that's what we did. We got good jobs. We started
Right.
getting good jobs. Okay, when we
Right.
should have did it like my great grandfather, who was a farmer. So we should have picked up the family business because
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we don't have our economics is low as black people is because we don't own enough. We need to
Right.
own instead of working for other people. We need to look at more ownership, and whether it be land or whatever, we need to own a piece of America, as
Right.
well
I agree.
as well as like we need to start investing. And I don't mean like investing in stocks. I don't mean investing. I mean investing in things, just like for instance, you investing in a small business. You can buy equipment piece by piece. And investing in things for our future, watching what we do with our money and trying to keep our money within our own community somehow, some way. I know it's like hard. I know sometimes you run across people that like some of our people, they don't want to do good business. But keep this in mind too, a lot of times our people have to charge a higher amount because they're not getting them wholesale rates. Just like a lot of these people that come from different countries, they have they have a network, and so they're getting things at wholesale rate. And then we can't get it from those other places like that. We have to go and we have to pay 3 times the price that they're getting it for. So we
Yep.
have to charge more. So we have to
Right.
consider that too. And it's all about the big picture at the end of the day. You might spend $2 or $3 more, but then your future is looking 2 or 3 times better.
Yep. That's right.
All right. So I'm sorry, Rhonda, but you now have the floor.
That's all right, QI. In fact, let me put a little plug in there real quick on what you're saying, and you guys can take this or do what you want to do with it. When she said about investing, I think it's real good to try to invest in stocks. There are what's called penny stocks out there where you can invest in products that's coming up. And I'm gonna give you a heads up. I'm not into stocks. I don't know stock market things. But what do most of us, 95% of us, do on a daily basis? We smoke weed.
Well, I gotta give it to you. I gotta give it to
Smoke
you.
weed. We smoke weed. By the end of this century, y'all, in the next couple of years, all states will have marijuana legalized for recreational use and for municipal use. So, what's popping up all over the place? Dispensaries. It's popping up all over the place. Some companies are really small. They're getting going where you can go and buy stocks into this company that's starting off really small for $2. So take $50 and buy stock in a company that's real small now, but in some years from now, that same company that you invested $50 in can bring you an overhead of $5,000. You can 1,000 times your money.
Right.
So so if you want, just take the time out, look into some marijuana dispensary stocks and get into it. Now that's my little thing on that. Okay,
Now let's talk about the yoni.
yeah. Let's now we got all that out the way. Ladies, I want to talk about our JJs. Um, as we get older, everybody in the chat, or so I know of us sitting here, are 40 plus. And as we get older, our we all know our JJs lose a little of its elasticity. It loses some of its moistness. It loses because we're getting older. But we always been taught that, starting off young age, we all use those dishes until it came out. There was no longer, we don't have to use dishes anymore because we are self-cleansing. But there always nothing wrong with helping our yonis out. Now, last year, oh my God, I just went blank, y'all. I don't
Last,
know if
there's nothing wrong with helping our yonis out, keeping them fresh and keeping them tight.
whole screen just went completely blank. Here I am.
Oh,
Um, I don't know if y'all can see this flip hat here.
mm-hmm. You can see it.
This is something. This is something that I started selling. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, so don't be like, oh, she tried to sell something. I'm not trying to sell you anything. But I started selling this to the ladies in my community for $20. And this is herbal Steam herbal cleanse treatment. And in this little pack, I had things like red clover leaf. Red clover leaf, it helps with your cholesterol. It helps with cancer prevention. It also helps with your hot flashes and breast pain. It also have lavender flower in it. It helps with reducing your headaches, as also well as giving you a good night's sleep. It has rosemary in it. I did when I decided to put this package together for ladies. I wanted to basically home on herbs that will help during your menstrual cycle, things that we go through every month to help ease the stress of having a menstrual without um, keep going to the doctors all the time. My big thing was when I was having my cycle was, you know what, right at the end of your cycle, it's not light, it's not heavy, but it comes, but it's brownish and it's smelly. The yoni treatment or doing a yoni steam will help prevent that. It will help prevent those things. It also will help prevent cramps. If you have a problem with having hard, really bad cramps, it will also help that. Uh, I also have in this bag, it also have sage. Black people, we burn the sage. And I personally never did the burning of the sage thing. But with this, the yoni, the steam, it helps with bloating, it helps with diarrhea, it helps with heartburn. I just want to add, like I said, a lot of things into it. There's what's called a yarrow flower, and
YARRW.
oh yeah,
Now, let me ask you a question, Rhonda. Is this like a pill form or a tea? What is it?
no,
Herbs.
no, I'm gonna finna tell you how you use this, and I want to say, guys, for right now, since I am telling you, I'm not trying to. I'm okay. I'm not trying to make any money. If you want to try this, you can hit me up in my email, drop your address, and I'll be happy to send you one where you can use it. No cost to you. I'll pay for it. No problem. Um, and how you use this is you boil it. You take about 6, 7 quarts of water, put this in it, boil it. Like I said, pour it in something and sit over it. Our vaginas is
Oh,
it's like giving your vajayjay a steam bath. What it is,
oh,
right? It's a steam,
interesting.
right. It's a steam bath for your. It's like giving a good old hot cup of tea. You know,
Oh, so you're a JJ. Yes.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So she's like she running to the bushes. Look at J Dot. J Dot, J Dot running to. But yeah, with this, it's just another way to open us up, giving our vaginas back its power. It is the window to our soul. So many things that we consume through our mouths, it ends up in our vaginas. you, you
And
know,
you also know when you are sexually active, you know every each person had their own pH balance. And so
right,
when you
right,
are
right.
sexual inactive with male, their pH and your pH are combining together, which
And
is
that's another
also
thing.
creating an odor.
Exactly. And that's another thing that this little package, like I said, if you want this, I'd be more than happy to give it to you. It's no, I have tons of it. Um, if if when you're having sex with your boyfriend, your man or whatever, and you know at 2, 3 days later, you're sitting on the toilet, you can still get that odor. This will also help that after having sex. Go have your steam. It's not that hard. And a lot of these products in this bag you can find in Walmart. You don't have to get these particular ones that I have in here, but you can just get rose petals. Get rose petals and boil it and sit over the world and sit over that. It will give you a nice fragrance. So, um, another thing that we lose in our vaginas is its moisture. We deal with dryness. If we're not aroused during foreplay, we deal with dryness. A good way to deal with that, ladies, is coconut oil.
Find another partner. No, I'm just playing. Just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, you get some coconut oil. It doesn't matter if you get the hard form or the liquidy form, and just take your fingers, dip it in, and go up in there with your fingers,
Okay.
and that will help you with your vaginal dryness. Okay,
Gotcha.
you know. So I was reading the comment.
Okay. Very
But yeah,
good.
Right.
that was just my
Oh,
thing. So if you have any questions about how to, Dr. Sabi was a natural healer, and am I saying his name right, Dr. Sabi? Is it
Dr.
Sabi?
Sadie.
Sabi? Yeah,
Mhm.
he was natural healer, and a lot of his things dealt with uh, what to eat. It dealt with uh, the, my daughter is in the kitchen, y'all, giving me all kinds of of little things. Get out the way, girl. So yeah. So anyway, y'all, do more things. It's more natural things that we can use to cleanse our bodies than to have to go into a store. And that was the whole point.
Mhm.
You
That
know.
was
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was good. And you could drop, I mean, drop your email in there just in case somebody wants to, purchase one of those from you. You
And
know,
Right.
I
and
don't they don't even have to purchase it. If you want to try it, my screen is completely frozen. It keeps freezing on me. But if
just
you
make sure you drop your email so that they'll know how to find you.
Yeah, and then I was telling you on ScreenYard, I don't know, it won't give me a option to uh type a chat to
Are
comment.
you under click on comments? You see the comments thing?
I see live comments. I see all the comments, but there's nothing under here for me to actually type a box. There's no box for me to
Okay, I don't know what's going on. We'll have to figure that out. But
figure
you
that out.
want me to drop the Hershey one?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that. And I'm gonna do it in just a moment. Let me go ahead. We're gonna move on to the next topic, and then like if y'all want to, we'll do call-ins and we can talk about any topics. But the next topic that I want to bring up is not necessarily just women empowerment. This topic is Black people empowerment. What I want to talk about today is Trump, and the reason why I want to talk about this with Trump is because it's gonna be very serious coming up here for the next couple of months. All right, Trump has disqualified himself from running for the 2020 election because Trump coerced Ukraine's leader into helping cheat for the election 2020. We already know that Trump did the same thing with Russia last year, so he had to use a different country this time. All right. And impeachment is, the House Senators saying that impeachment is imperative to protect the integrity of next year's election. So, and it's all about the security and things of that nature as well. So, 9 times out of 10, Trump is going to get impeached. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you now, there's a reason I'm bringing this up. Now, Mike Murphy said that if it was a secret vote, 30 Republican senators would vote to impeach Trump. Okay. Trump promoted InfoWars. Who's moving? Trump promoted InfoWars level conspiracy slander. Trump promoted it just like last year they had to take Alex Jones off the air. He was Trump, Trump, Trump. And there are a lot of secret people like within the community, just like I stated yesterday. They had last year they had Russian people setting up pro-black accounts and all kinds of things, pretending that they were Black people and trying to encourage people to vote for Trump or trying to encourage people not to vote at all. So we have to watch out for these things as well. Even if Trump is who's moving, even if Trump is impeached, we still have to watch out for that because they have things on the table. Just like for instance, a lot of people don't know that Trump is trying to remove the civil rights, our 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment is what gives, Black people the right to be. Who is moving? I'm gonna have to mute people. Okay, the 14th Amendment is what gives people the right to gives us black people the right to rights to freedom, pretty much. Other than that, from slavery. So if they so him along with Comcast, they're trying to remove the 14th Amendment. So basically they're trying to put back people back into an enslaved position, as well as they were trying to remove the 19th Amendment, which is the amendment that gives women the right to vote, as well as they were trying to remove the Civil Rights Act that protects women and the LGBT community together. Okay, so Trump and the Republicans are removing our rights. Okay, so like we definitely, they definitely want to definitely get into the 2020 election because they've set the stage, like his first term. So the second term, the Republicans were planning to, basically enforce all those things. So we have to be very careful about who we elect. So, and be very careful about the propaganda and things like that they're spreading around YouTube as well. The reason why I want to say that it's very important is because we're good. Like, if I've noticed that there's a lot of racist, there's a lot of cop killing. There's a lot of cop killing innocent bystanders. And we already know that there's a big group of Trump supporters, a big group of outright people out there, and they're ready to go to war. So they're not going to take this lightly. And so we're going to have to, my reason for bringing this up and, empowering us and saying, be very careful in your interactions with the police. Be very careful with your interactions, like with, certain people, because they're mad and they're mad and they're killing. So we want to be very, very careful about, we want to be very, very careful once Trump gets, with this Trump impeachment situation and things of that nature, because they're retaliating. So, I just want to bring that to the attention of everyone that, this it's serious.
The one thing I want to add to that is the fact that a lot of us don't vote for many reasons, but if us voting is very important. But I do want to say this: Trump doesn't really care about the black vote, and I'm gonna tell you why. And because we're entertainment to us, he watch us destroy each other. And if he does not get our vote, it will not make one difference or the next, because he has a strong base of his of white supremacy, the Catholics, everything. He has a strong white base. So he's not really, because I heard somebody say, oh, he don't mess with the black people. We're little fish to him. We don't pose a threat to Trump at all. Please keep that in mind. We do not pose a threat to him.
Let me correct you. Hold on.
Immigrants pose a more threat to Trump than we do, because those are the ones coming in, buying property, owning businesses, and they're frightened that immigrants will take over. A lot of white people are very frightened that immigrants will take over. Why do you think he's really not focused on black people?
Well, let me correct. Hold on, BB. Let me say something. He is concerned about the black vote because the black vote is the majority. That's why he's trying to take away the 19th Amendment to remove the women factor, because they did their map, and that map, showed, they did that map to see like what would be his chances of winning if only women voted or if only males voted. So they wanted to, that's why they were trying to repeal the 19th. And their reason for trying to affect the civil rights of the 14th Amendment is because of the simple fact that we don't never forget that black people are the majority. Okay, now we should exercise our rights as a majority by registering and by actively voting. Then we would be taken seriously. Okay, now, so what they did, just like last election, remember he had those two black ladies, I forget their name, up there talking about Trump, Trump, Trump. They've already went around and they're circling up groups of black people to try to, push republicanism. There's a whole group on YouTube that I know for sure of, and they're even trying to recruit younger college students who, their first time voting to vote Republican. Okay, so yeah, he is concerned about the black vote. He's trying to mind trick us that, because he's the one, or they're the ones starting a propaganda and pushing a propaganda that Democrats aren't doing anything for us. But what we have to keep in mind is Republicans are definitely not going to do anything for us, because just like they just cut $60 billion at the beginning of the year, just from like housing and different things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? He came in cutting, slashing stuff that affects, black people and poor people, like the funding, so like they're not going to do what they're trying to do is take away our rights and push us back into slavery. So I'd much rather deal with the, Democrat, Democrat, or like a lot of people on the table right now talking like ADOS, but they should have started a lot earlier, where we start our own party. It's too late, this year to be talking about starting your own party, because your candidates already have to be on the table. But they said like in 2024, then then we have a chance to start our own party. But for this time, we have to vote for the least of the least evils, or the best to represent what we need. Just like right now, one of the things that we really want that's on the table that we're pushing is reparations. So but Trump does care about our vote. He just doesn't respect us. He wants to trick it. He wants to sneak it. He
I
wants.
see him looking at us as nothing but pure entertainment.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? And so I just don't feel like he really care about if we vote for him or not, because he called us stupid anyway.
no, he
So
do care. He do care, but he thinks that we're stupid enough to still vote for him. He
and
thinks
it's not even just a political gain for him not to be our president. This man is posing a national security threat to our country. He is selling our country off to the highest bidder for his own selfish gain. And if that's not enough to wake people up, I don't know what else y'all need. He has no loyalty to this country at all. He has been in the ears of every foreign leader since he's been in this office, before he was in office, and he continues to do it now. We're at the at the expense of us, of Americans, of our military. Our militaries fight every day for our freedom, and they don't really know what they're going into, because we have a president that goes behind their back making deals, and it's wrong. It's terrible.
well, they're old money. They're old money. They've been doing this for decades. The Republicans are old money. They've been doing this. They're the royal bloodline. They've been doing this for decades and things of that nature. And just like this is another thing, the reason why it appears that he does not care about the black vote is because he have the celebrities. He have a lot of these celebrities, just like Jay-Z just gave $200,000. I mean 200K along with the NFL to a Trump supporting group. So he and so Jay-Z would be one of those people that's pushing behind the background, vote for Trump. Kanye West, he got these people out here. That's why, he doesn't have to look like anything, because he knows that, we looking at entertainment, and we're gonna
Yeah,
follow
that's
the
it.
entertainment.
Yeah.
We're gonna follow the rappers. And they're misleading us. Just like I said, they're giving incentives to mislead us. And instead of us looking at it, just like for instance, T.I., he's getting up there like he knows about reparations. Talking about with Jay Morrison. Jay Morrison don't know about reparations. Talking about Jay Morrison said we can't get reparations because we don't have a flag. That whole red, white, and blue flag over there was first of all created by my black Mayan ancestors. Okay, that's American. That's black. We created that. The
You
Indian, the
You
Indians.
are. No, let me read a question for you.
Wait, let me make this one more point, then we get the question. Okay. And he also said that we don't have a nationality. We are, if nothing, if you trace your family tree, 9 times out of 10, you're American Indian. But if you don't trace your family tree, you're at least American. So we've always had a nationality. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, this question was for you. Critical thinking and panel. Oh, it's for everybody. Sorry. What do you think about Bernie Sanders? He's older than most, but I have a respect for him and would love to see what he can do.
Well, first of all, Bernie Sanders said last election, I don't even know that he was not going to give us reparations. And that's sad because he is Jewish and the Jewish people already got their reparations. How are you going to sit up there and say that? I'm not voting for nobody who ain't with reparations or who's not going to, approve reparations. Okay, then I just like today, he's in the hospital right now. They're putting a stent in his heart. So his health is not up to par.
Right.
So,
I
we
agree
have to
with that.
consider
Yeah, I
that.
didn't even know he was 78 years old. And that's a big problem for me because he's an older man. He's already having health issues. I don't know if he can really come to task with being the president at this age, especially with his health. What about you, Rhonda? What do you feel about Bernie Sanders?
I agree. He's too old. He's too old. Bernie did a lot during his time, but right now he too old to even help.
And then he's not okay. I want if every other race except us has gotten reparations, then why are you gonna tell me that you're not gonna approve my reparations? I'm not voting for you. You need if your people got reparations, so how are you gonna tell my people that they can't get reparations? No, nah, nope, no.
Okay.
My first question is, are you for reparations? That's why I said people out here talking about we can't get it. Yes, we can. These
Yeah,
politicians want to be elected. So we got to
that's
put
right.
that fire up under their butt and we got to say, are you for reparations? Are you for reparations? If you're not for reparations, we're not electing you.
Okay, so somebody just answered and said Bernie Sanders said he'd sign a bill to research reparations for descendants of slaves if elected president.
No, no, buddy. We ain't that dumb. He said he'd sign a bill to research.
To research.
Research.
We don't need to look. No, that's just like saying, oh, I'll look into it.
Oh, 40 acres and a mule.
I'll look into it. They've been saying that forever. I'll look into it. We need more than research. We need
Right.
to put your signature down somewhere. We need an executive order.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Now we got a nationality, Soul Alchemy. You know that now. You know you've been over there. We came from the same pack. We got a nationality, American Indian, or American. As well as the flag. Our ancestors, the Mayans, the Black Mayans, created that flag. So that's our flag. That's not their flag. That 13. Them 13 stripes and 13 stars. The Mayan. That's the Mayan sacred number 13. 13 square triangles on the back of a turtle's back, 13 rams of life. 13, like 13 is the Mayan number. That's why that 13 is there, and that's our Mayan flag. We created that.
Mhm.
So our flag, not theirs, not anyone else's. Just like we created the constitutions. That's ours. Now it's been amended. That's what amendments and all that. It's been amended. Things have been added and changed, but that was our original constitution. So, we have a nationality. We're American. So we got to push it. All other races except us have gotten it. And one of the reasons, so we got to stop being defeated, or we got to stop feeling like we're unworthy or undeserving, and we got to do like the rest of them did. We got to push forth until we get it. We ain't gonna give up. We got to get that same fire that our ancestors used to have. They didn't say, well, they didn't say that, well, I'm continue to sit at the back of the bus. They ain't gonna never let us sit at the front of the bus. They said we gonna fight. They kept fighting, they kept pushing, and we got to have that same momentum. We've lost that momentum. We're gonna fight for our rights that we deserve to be here. We keep
Because we're ill informed. a QI. We're ill-informed, we're uneducated, and we don't have the time to learn. And I'm speaking of us as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to just go with the flow versus doing research on your own, becoming more educated of the things that you deserve, and of your history. It's just easier for us. We have grown so stable and accustomed to just going along with the flow, and it messes us up each and every time. It's going to continue to mess us up each and every time.
Well, they got us shucking and jiving as well. We shucking and driving. They got us all into the Real Housewives of whoever. They got us all in love and hip hop. That we ain't paying attention to the fact that they trying to take away our rights.
Yeah,
14th
yeah,
Amendment. That's like once they take away the 14th Amendment, and Comcast is trying to help Trump with this executive order. Look it up, y'all. We were about to be back to slaves and right up under our noses, and we still
yeah.
out here. What Nene them doing?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know anything about what's going on. You are so
Then
right.
your
You're
TV get
so
cut off,
right.
and they talking about your TV get cut off, and they talking about come on, line up. This ain't your house no more.
Right. Rhonda, what you was about to say?
No, I was finna say me too, girl. Me too. I mean, I guess I'm just in America where I don't just keep up and follow that because I don't know. Say I ain't got time for that. I'm going to work every day. I got to provide a house every day. I ain't got my butt on
I've
what
never
it is.
seen a society so hung up on fakeness in my life. Like, we are so caught up on a fake reality show with fake people and fake, everything going on. What about Elizabeth Warren? Val wants to know.
Well, that's
About her.
well, Elizabeth would be my second choice. My first choice is going to be Kamala Harris, and why? Because I want to put that fire up under her butt. She's got 2 terms. So like what all we don't what all we can't force out of her this first term, we can force out of her this second term. But we need, like, okay, we got the abortion issue in Alabama, where they're trying to tell women what they can and cannot do with their bodies. And Alabama's just the starting place. We got Pence and Trump and all of these different people trying to take away women's rights with Planned Parenthood. Then let's go move on over here to we got women healthcare issues, fibroids, thyroids, and all these kind of stuff from the food and stuff that we're eating. Then the insurance issues in women's healthcare. Then let's move on over here to the fact that they were trying to take away the 19th Amendment, which is the amendment that gives women the rights to vote. Come on now. Once we lose the right to vote, we lose our voice. Therefore, they can pass anything on us. Then we got, especially us as Black people, we got the all-time epidemic. It's an epidemic, and it's not on the news, of missing Black women and girls. And then domestic violence is at an all-time high. At an all-time high. So those, like I haven't heard anybody bring up these missing girls. And then I've heard families going to the police station after, to check on the status, and they don't even know who the girls is, and the police don't even know who the girls are. So like we got to get some people in office that's gonna solve that. And then
What about Elizabeth Warren, though? What do you think about her?
the sex trafficking, like I said, then the sex trafficking or human trafficking situation. Like I said, I think she would be my second choice, but I want to vote for somebody who would care about us as Black women, about those missing Black girls, about the Black women issues as well. We need to get more Black female representatives in politics, or else we're gonna lose.
Kamala Harris, in my opinion, she's my second choice. Elizabeth Warren is my first, and the reason why is because Elizabeth Warren has been the same her entire career. She has been about corruption. She has been about equality. She has been about the things that we as women care about her entire career. Kamala Harris, she has flip-flopped a little bit, and I still don't know what Kamala Harris has actually done for the Black community yet. Yes, she was a prosecutor, but she prosecuted a lot of black men.
She
So
did.
I still don't understand. I don't know personally. I don't know what Kamala Harris has done for Black people.
Okay, so are you saying that Black men shouldn't get prosecuted?
I never said that. I never said that. I still want to know what has Kamala Harris done for Black people.
I don't know, but I'm just saying that's the first thing they
Because
say.
her just being Black is not good enough. Because don't forget, she is married to a white man. So her being Black is not enough for me.
Well,
Because
no,
she went
and
off,
then and
yeah.
then and then reparations as well. Like she would care more about reparations than Elizabeth Warren. You know, like we gotta like we think. See, they do the sugar wooger and the booger wooger on us all the time. They make it seem like okay, like oh yeah, because they already out there talking about Elizabeth Warren like she all acting this and that. Then when you get in office, you ain't gonna get no results. We ain't gonna get no results. It's not gonna be a Black agenda. We gotta ask them what is a Black agenda. Now we can ask Kamala Harris and we can put the feet to the fire on her. But Elizabeth Warren, on the other hand, I think she's gonna play like just like y'all be talking about Clinton. Hillary Clinton was, the same way. They gonna act like, with the hot sauce and everything, they gonna act like they all with this and all with that until they get elected. And then, we still ain't gonna have what we need. We have it's like self-hatred issues. Like we would rather get that than to get our own. We got to stop doing that. We got to start pushing our own to do what we need them to do, because at the end of the day we can't keep depending on other people. We got to start being self-sufficient, and we got to start building trust, and we got to start building what we need within ourselves. That's why they think that we can't take care of ourselves, and we 3/5 of a human, and that we minority, because minority means people who can't govern and take care of themselves.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. Um, Melissa also asks, well, Soul Alchemy said, why would she? Because she's partially Black. And then Melissa said, do we know what Elizabeth's agenda is for Black communities? Sorry, I haven't read up on her yet. Her agenda, I'm not going to say is predominantly to Black, but she is for equal. She's equal. She is a stickler for equal pay. She's a stickler for the gun violence and the mistreatment of the prison system, and minorities being mistreated by police. She is very strong on
And
that.
those are all Black male issues, and none of those are the issues that we could put behind Kamala Harris.
But is Kamala Harris about Black women?
Yeah, we can put the fire behind her to be behind Black women. This lady Elizabeth Warren is saying the things that people keep yelling, but see, they keep yelling. Okay, prison reform. Okay, we have more serious issues. I'm not saying that it's not important, but I'll be darned if abortion and losing our right to vote and all these missing Black children and women are not more important than the prison reform. There's more important things than prison reform, and all I hear roll out people's mouths is prison reform. We need maybe some of them need to be in there if they the same ones that's going around here snatching up these little girls, because people that look like them that's doing it. So we
But
need
it's so many that are, and I'm not just talking about men, because women are being wrongfully accused and in jail just as much
those children are
as
our
men.
future, though. Those children are our future. So we're like our future. We're like allowing our future generations are unprotected. They're getting wiped off the face of the earth because we are concentrating on other things other than our future. Our futures come first. Them children cannot protect themselves.
Okay.
So, that's what I'm saying. We got it's other things besides just that. That's all I hear people saying, but I don't hear nobody, and I've been saying this. I have not heard anybody talking about the epidemic, the highest epidemic of missing Black girls and children. I'm gonna need somebody to get on that.
So
mean,
how do you think we can hold Kamala Harris to the fire on these issues that
he
we care
wants
about?
to be elected for another 4 years. First of all, you start with your local government. First, everybody needs to vote locally, locally and state. And then you need to stay on your local and state government, as well as you have a right. They have access numbers where you can call and leave messages and where you can email these people. We need to be sending mass emails like, what are we going to do about this epidemic of missing Black girls? What are we going to do about this epidemic of missing Black girls and women? What are we going to do about that? And
Mhm.
as women, we need to be like, what about our women's rights? We don't, like, we don't want to be told what to do with our bodies when it comes down to abortion. Like, we need to step up to the plate and be more proactive. Just like I said before, as women, we're the only ones that's going to save us. We don't see males stepping up talking about this stuff. So we got to do it. And so we got to stop, like, if you got to first love yourself and you got to first take care of yourself. The first law of nature is self-preservation. So if you don't survive, what's the point in protecting this man? First, protect yourself. And we're so busy protecting men and ignoring the things that are going on that are much worse with us. Like these missing girls, sex trafficking, missing women, the highest epidemic of domestic violence, abortion, thyroids, all of these health problems and stuff like that. The fact that they're trying to take away our right to vote, and they've taken and Trump signed the executive order for to take away the Civil Rights Act that protects women. So that's what we need to be focused on. We steady trying to look over here while we getting locked up. We're getting ready to get shipped off to these concentration camps, and the men gonna be free.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I get passionate about this because it's like it's serious. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. Can we? So let's go to our next topic because we can go on and on about that.
Yeah. Okay, that was the last topic. Okay, do y'all want to do call-ins? If y'all want to do open the phone line for call-ins, just hit just type one in the chat and I'll open up the phone line.
Well, we didn't talk about Amber.
Oh yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I'm sorry. I forgot.
So Amber Guyger was convicted today, and she yes. Oh, she was convicted today. She was charged with murder. This young white woman went into someone else's home she thought was her own and shot and killed a black man. And so she was on trial all week, and they finally convicted her of murder. And what they gave her today was a 10-year sentence. Now, my question is, because I do not know, is that consecutive 10, or can she does she qualify for parole in 5 or 6?
Right.
And
Good
do you
question.
guys
I didn't
feel
know
like
that.
that's fair? Her sentence is fair.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
I'm just saying that I want to know that too. Is it gonna be a 10 consecutive, or are they gonna split it up and she gonna get parole and serve 6 months or
Um,
whatever the case may be? You know,
it's gonna be parole. It's
yeah,
gonna be. I'm gonna tell y'all why. I want y'all to go ahead and weigh in. Then I'm gonna tell y'all why. I've said it before though, but I'm gonna tell you why. Y'all
Well,
wait.
I mean, I was, first of all, I was shocked that she even got convicted, because that's not the norm with, you know, cops killing black people. They usually they don't get convicted. So I was very, very surprised that she got convicted.
I think
However, I do not think 10 years was enough.
no, it wasn't. I
Um,
agree.
you
I
know,
agree. 10
I
years
really
was not
don't.
enough.
It wasn't nowhere near it, but they continuously slap us in the face with the fact that, yeah, you black, we can kill you, and there ain't nothing you could do about it.
Well, no. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you. Okay, y'all remember how I be saying that by classifying ourselves as black and African American does not protect us under any laws.
Yeah.
All right. That's what it is. Okay. And that's why we keep feeling like, okay, because if you're like as black or African American, you're considered property of the United States. You're still under that 3/5 color of law. It's called the color of law. Look it up. Okay. Where, it's unjust, and it's directly, the color of law was directly designed for the police department, the fraternal order of police. But here's the thing, and like how you classify matters. But here's the thing, um, you can do with whatever you want to with your property. So they can, as long as like we not keep not knowing our rights, our laws, how to self-identify, and politics and things of that nature, they're gonna keep being able to do it because they're within their legal grounds. That's what we don't know. They're within their legal grounds.
So okay. My question for you though, QI, you saying that because we don't identify with who we are, this is happening to us. Am I right with you? Is that what you're
The
saying?
term Black and African American means property of the United States corporation. Okay, that's just like me saying that car is my property. That's just like me saying this house is my property. That's just like me saying whatever is my property. And you can do whatever you choose or whatever at will to your property. Now, the only thing that halfway protects us is what Trump is trying to remove, and that is that 14th Amendment. They get, from slavery. But other than that, black, you're 3/4, you consider 3/5 of a human, your property. So, this is why, they give us different treatment. Now, other people, like when they come over here, just like the census, when they write down where they're from, that means that they have a whole embassy. They have a whole, what do you call it? They got a whole other government that protects them. Just
Mm-hmm.
everybody else got a whole nother government that protects them. And once again, when I say minority, you're not a minority because of the number of people. You're a minority because you don't have a government that governs you. Because the United States is a corporation. They
Okay.
fall under codes. The United States fall under business codes. Okay, it's not an actual country. And then we have the Constitution, which was created by us. So created by us, and they make amendments. And see, they can't override the codes, can't override the Constitution. But here's the thing: they keep tricking us with the words, with the terms, because like I said before, we went from American Indian to Negro to colored to black to Afro American, and then in 1998, and one guy made the decision, Jesse Jackson, African American. So as an African American, you don't have any country. And like I said before, Trump, he already said, I can send you back to where you came from. He's trying to deport. They was getting ready to deport some people who was born here. Just like look at Trump's birthright. Trump was trying to remove the birthright citizens. The birthright citizens, which means that if you're born in this country, you're considered a citizen. Okay, he's trying to remove that so that he can deport, because they're trying to take the country. They're trying to take, the Republicans are trying to take the country. We have to pay attention to like what they're doing. We have to know like these terms. We got to know laws. We got to know like we got to know our rights. That's our problem. We don't know like the important stuff. We know what song Drake just came out with. We know what the last season or episode of Love and Hip Hop. We know what's going on here on YouTube, but we don't know enough about the law. And then we got to make sure our children know their rights and their laws as well, the law as well. Like I said, when you say read, make them read some law books. Make them read
Mm-hmm.
some political books. Make them read some books that matter. That matter. Because knowledge is power. And
Wow.
our people are perishing because we have a lack of knowledge. Point blank simple.
Melissa said, my best friend was deported. She was brought here at 3 months old. They put her in a chinchilla uh, prison for 6 months before deporting her. She never been in jail a day in her life, never broke a law. It was scary and devastating. Nobody cared. She had 3 children at home.
Here in Mississippi right now, well, he's my cousin, yes. Benny Thompson, which is our senator. He just made the announcement. It's unfair what Trump is doing. They down here doing ICE raids in Mississippi. And they guess what? They're rounding up these adults and then they're leaving these children here. And guess what's happening to them children? Would you guess? Would you guess? Sex trafficking.
Yes, that's trafficking and foster care.
We got to wake up. We have got to wake up. And then that's why I said we have more important issues than prison reform. Our children, look at what happened to all these children. That's what we need to be talking about.
Yeah.
They can't defend themselves.
Okay.
All right. So it doesn't seem like people want the phone lines to be open, which is okay, because I know y'all gotta go to bed. And it's another good episode. And y'all forgive me, I get passionate, like they know we get passionate.
I know. We know. It's all love.
Yeah, all love. But y'all go ahead and make y'all final statements and we will close out.
Okay, so everybody, thank you again for coming out and chatting with us. I do appreciate all the newcomers. I hope to see you again. We like to enlighten each other. Any topics you want to discuss, maybe you can email QI and we can discuss those topics as well. All things are welcomed over here. We're all learning together, and I appreciate you.
And yeah, Soul Alchemy, make sure you write down my email and make sure you email me, because I want to bring you on one day, so you can go ahead and talk about the herbs and different things of that nature. That's what we do over here. So I got a spot for you. Okay, go ahead, Rhonda. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us tonight and staying up here with us. We really appreciate it. And like I said, if you guys want to try the Yoni steam treatment, QI, if you can put my email up, like I said, I can't.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, Rhonda. Oops. I will. Hold on.
Yeah. You
go ahead.
Get that email and send me your address, and I'll be happy to send you a package with instructions on how to use it.
Okay, I'm dropping her email in. It's the Hershey911@gmail.com. Y'all write that down for them good old Yoni products. There it is. Hershey911.
A good old Yoni treatment for the free.
Can't beat that. All right. Well, it's been nice. I like to say love, peace, and hair grease. And we're going to go out with this good old music. And here we go. Peace.